When first I saw Devon, 'twas from a train, fleeing 2 wars, and not knowing which I feared the most. The nightly bombs and blackout, the incomprehensible hatred of strangers, and the shelter's uncertain refuge, or the verbal weapons used with deadly aim on the domestic front. The changing landscape flashes past the glass. Kale replaces grass. Red cows replace the black. There are still sheep, but a different breed, I think, fatter, and a subtle shade of pink. The flashing scene backtracks along the years, prompting a snatch of dialogue from the lurking past. "Mummy, why are the sheep pink?" Watching now from this window, the flashing fields that settle in my memory finding a perfect fit, I think how comforting it was to a wartime child that sheep could sometimes be pink. In a nonsensical order. Right. On writing poetry in Quaker meeting. I take a pencil and a notebook or a piece of paper. No one notices, or at least no one asks me why. If it were in King Charles' time, I could be writing names of non-attenders at the church, of dangerous dissidents. But I am listening to the silence, and fishing in its gleaming space for images and cadences that float into my mind. I make my notes by the glow of the candle that burns in the secret room. I hope I have come to terms with my God on this question of writing there, for poetry is as near as ever I get to prayer. Right, this is one of my first Welsh ones. My village where I live it's high up, it's 700 feet up and my house is 750 feet up. So it's sort of in a valley, well it's more in a bowl. It's already high up, but all around it there are hills, so it's in a kind of circle of mountains, and whenever I go out, therefore I'm facing mountains whichever way I go, or at least hills. And it's called I Lift My Eyes to the Hills. I lift my eyes to the hills, from whence comes no help from gods to temper the world's ills. And yet, although I see no Saviour King or holy angels, there is something in those hills, in this land of austere beauty, that consoles and speaks of eternity. Something, I think, that comes from souls of those who lived and died and signed the landscape with their toil. A signature of boundary walls, strung like scars across the slopes of mountains almost old as time. They built their havards and their hendres, stern-faced chapels, endless dry stone walls, and men in whom the same blood runs build still, build again the same walls, with the same stones, when at last, centuries having wreaked revenge, the rocks slip sidelong and fall, leaving gaping holes, where sheep flow an undulating stream to pastures new. They too have a patient and enduring pattern of continuity that seems inbuilt. Ewes teach lambs the lie of the land. Generation after generation of sheep have roamed among these rocks, preserving a racial memory, a living ancestry of flocks. Perhaps there is something of that in me, a legacy willed unknowingly by my gran, who was London Welsh and never saw these hills. Actually, she didn't like mountains either. Thank you very much.